right, here we are for another Innistrad booster draft. Um, Looking at this first pack, I don't know how good Kessel Wolfrun is. I mean, I imagine this is pretty good in draft. Um, Not 100% sure how good it is. Looking at the rest of this pack, I'm going to get a Civilized Scholar, Silent Departure, Travel Preparations, Chapelgeist, and the Lumberknot are probably the cards really worth mentioning. Um, If I got the Wolf Run, I'd probably be looking for like a white-green splashing the red deck, which becomes a little bit risky because if we're already splashing for a red mountain, that means we have to play the Wolf Run, which means we're playing two off-color lands. So I guess I could be going like, red-green, maybe splashing white for stuff like Travel Prep. You could go ahead and try and build a deck around this. I mean, I think these might be the two other best cards. We might even wheel something like the Lumberknot, which I still think is underrated, but I'm not sure. It is a rare. We don't get to play with it very often, and yeah, I think it's decent, so let's go ahead and try it. So as I said, I'd probably be looking for like a white-green type splashing deck, and wow, what did they take? Is there a flip card left in this pack? They must have taken some really good flip card rare, because we got a Brimstone, a Slayer of the Wicked, and a Geistcatcher's Rig. That is pretty sick. I mean, we also got a Rage Thrower. Well, if we're splashing red, I mean, I think Brimstone Volley is probably the best card out of, like, I think the three choices would be the Slayer, which we have no indication we'd really want to be white yet, the Geistcatcher's Rig, which would keep us open, and the Brimstone Volley. I think Volley is probably the best card here. But gosh, like, yeah, I mean, this pack's strong. I mean, these cards are strong, but we're probably not wheeling anything from this pack, which is kind of funny. Like, we might get the Smiter, get Elder Cathar, but it's doubtful. I think just taking the Brimstone here is probably best since we already have Wolfrun that uses red, and we could even be going like a red-green direction instead of like the green-white. We could just be base red-green like Werewolves or something. It'd be interesting. I wish I knew what they took from that pack because that was very interesting there. To see those three cards. Well, in this pack, like Fallen Falkenrath Noble. Let's try and get these card names right. Probably the best card. Villagers would be the best to fit with what we have now. I mean, red-black splashing green probably doesn't seem to be the best for a Wolfrun deck. I mean, maybe though. It's just if Fallen Kirk is that much better than the Villagers. I mean, we could even, seeing this guy this late, maybe black is open. I didn't really see any black cards in the last pack, and they probably picked a flip card, which means maybe they're taking some kind of blue, or I don't know what flip cards they would take, like Instigator Gang, Bloodline Keeper. I mean, this is definitely the best card. This might be the best to go with what we're drafting. I'm going to take the Noble, and since it's the best card, and just, I mean, we might be abandoning this, but just seeing this guy here, he's very good. It goes in a black-red strategy. It looks like white is open now. I mean, we've seen the Slayer pass to us. There really wasn't a lot of white in that last pack, but Spectre Rider's very good, though maybe underrated card. I think Creepy Doll is the best pick here. It's a good card in, almost any type of deck. Like, it's slow, but it just locks up the ground game tight. And I think it's fine in like a black-red deck, especially with something like Wolfrun, where we could just send it in a return and make it monstrous. Ashmouth Hound is also pretty good, and Trader's Blood in the right black-red deck with the right number of sack effects can be decent too. But just looking at this, I think Creepy Doll is very strong. It could fit in any of the combinations of decks we'd be drafting, so I think I'm going to go ahead and take it. And just note that there's a lot of white left and a little bit of red, so maybe black is getting scooped up. Of course, just as I say that, we see a Tribute to Hunger, which, again, not the best black card, but in conjunction with other removal in black. I mean, like in a black-red deck, you might end up with a lot of removal, so it's probably pretty good. Bump in the Night, depending on how aggressive our deck is, can also be pretty solid. We see there is a Pilgrim here as well, which is one of the, I would say, the better cards in green-white, because you really want that early jump and ramp, and it's also human. But I think right here the right pick is just the Tribute to Hunger, and we kind of just stick on this black-red plan. I mean, I think Creepy Doll fits pretty solid in a black-red strategy. Like Torment, this guy isn't really a consideration yet. I don't think I'd ever be building a Burning Vengeance strategy with what we have now. And while these guys are okay, we have no indication that we should be going into blue, so I'm going to go ahead and take the Tribute. I think it probably is one of the better cards in that pack in general anyway. Wow, it's interesting we see another Pilgrim here, so... but like taking this, we're not going the Pilgrim route. I mean, we're sticking with the black-red plan. In that regard, I'm not sure if Traitorous Blood or the Tormented Pariah is better. Traitorous Blood we'd only really play if we get the sacrifice effects, which currently we don't have. The Pariah, generally he is, going to be an outcast. He's probably going to be, your 24th card in the long run. Especially in a black-red theme that generally favors the vampire strategy. But, since we don't have any sacrifice effects, I don't think we're wheeling any, I'm going to go ahead and take this guy first. We'll see what we might end up getting. Well, here we got Typhoid Rats and Ashmouth Hound. I think the rats are probably slightly better. But, I don't know. Like, this guy is so hard to block, and he wins in a fight against the rats. That maybe the Ashmouth Hound is just better than rats, but rats, is a solution to almost anything. I don't think Ghoul Caller's Chance is really a consideration for black-red, where you're more focused around a vampire than a zombie theme. So yeah, I think rats is going to be the play just because of the way it can deal with almost, any ground creature. Though Ashmouth Hound, as I said, might be better. I'm not 100% sure on that one yet. Wow, and here we see... yeah, so seeing this stuff late, I really don't know what to make of this. It could be that blue-black is open. I'm going to go ahead and take one of them. I think they're that much stronger than the Ridgewolf. I'm not sure which would be stronger, the Alchemy or the Scab. Like, if we somehow are... I don't think we would be splashing Alchemy, but like we could somehow end up being splashing this Volley and just getting rid of these things. And... with the current creatures we have now, I think I'd just rather have the Alchemy. And I think I'd rather play against the Alchemy, so I'm going to go ahead and take that. Wow, and we see... so there are 2 blue cards starting in this pack. There's Civilized Scholar and Silent Departure. We wheeled the Civilized Scholar here, so it looks like blue really is indeed open. As I said, Lumbernaut's underrated and came back, but nothing here makes us want to play green. I don't think, we're not considering the green strategy. Civilized Scholar is that much more powerful, and now that we got Forbidden Alchemy, I think we're just going to be moving into a blue-black splash red and just abandon the Wolf Run plan. It's possible this should have been the Scab, but I think this is slightly stronger than the Scab, depending on, if we're splashing. So, splashing in blue-black mill, it generally isn't the best, because if you end up, removing your splash land, you could be... you could be screwed in that regard, but yeah, I think blue is going to be open, and that's what we should be going for. I don't know if Spider Rasp or Smite the Monstrous would be the better card to hate there. Obviously, we're not playing any of those. I think Purify the Grave would be the best sideboard card against this. Though, if it comes down to it, like with our colors, maybe we could be playing the Ridgewolf. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. Curse of the Nightly Hunt is okay with Creepy Doll, maybe against some strategies. And even with our rats, yeah, I'll go ahead and take it. We're not playing the Cathar. We're probably not playing the Curse, obviously, because it's red. But the black really dried up, so maybe we could be going some red-blue strategy. We'll wait and see here. It's kind of a odd assortment of cards we ended up getting there. I don't really know what people... yeah, we didn't see much blue, and then suddenly we had, 8th pick and 9th pick solid blue stuff coming, so I'm not really sure what to make of that yet. And we open an incredibly weak pack for us. Splinter Fight's an okay card, Villagers, Voiceless, all those are okay cards, but there's nothing in any of our colors that I would really want to play here, which is sad. I guess we could just go ahead and take the Manor Skeleton. I don't really see taking a Bitterheart Witch, because we're definitely not playing that unless we end up getting a Curse, but we're probably not going to get the Curse of Death's Hold. It works with Curse of the Nightly Hunt, but I don't think that's something we really want right now. God, first picking a Manor Skeleton just seems so iffy. And I don't even know if I'm going to be black. if I was playing black or red. I'm trying to think. I mean, both of these are kind of the equivalent. Though this guy easier to kill, but kills more things on D. I think I'm gonna take the Manor Skeleton. Um, he fits a little bit better in between. And yeah, here we have Murder of Crows just to muck up whatever we might be considering playing. Yeah, I think right now our blue cards are still actually stronger. Like, if you look at our red cards, I'll just go ahead and hide that. Like, this is really our only strongest red card. The other cards are kind of mediocre. And our black cards are a lot stronger than those other red cards. So I think I'd be leaning toward blue-black. Like, these guys are all both pretty good. And Murder of Crows is exceptional. Really fits in with our deck. We might even wield it, like the Corpse, the Reap, the Deranged Assistant. We have, 4 cards out of here that we'd want. So hopefully we'd wheel something. Probably not, since... we might probably end up with like Kinder Catcher. There's like what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's not many playables in here, so I doubt we'll end up with anything wheeled. But taking the murder now really puts us in a solid blue-black plan. And while Moorcut Banshee isn't amazing, it is not bad. It's still a big body. And it still does have a very relevant ability, even though it's not the easiest to set that up to instantly kill a creature you want to kill. Yeah, it's not bad. And like these tabled last time, we might be getting one back again. If not, like Rolling Trembler might not be horrible in this deck. And yeah, I mean, we're already probably splashing red, so I don't think we're, playing Kessel Wolfrun at this point, but I guess you never know, so I'm just leaving it out there to remind us we have it. And I'm going to go ahead and take the Banshee for now. Well, Hinterland Harbor could help us in splashing the Wolf Run if we wanted to. We don't really have anything to work with zombies yet, so I think the Walking Corpse... Yeah, let's look at our cost sort for now. Like, we do need earlier drops, but I think Stitcher's Apprentice is the right pick here. Like, Stitcher's is really solid. It allows us to trigger this every turn if we wanted to trigger this every turn, to activate Morbid for that. So it's definitely something we might want in our deck. Hinterland Harbor, might allow us to play Kessel Wolfrun a bit better, but definitely not the pick over Stitcher's Apprentice. Like, there's no reason to muck up your mana. Wow, that's a late Midnight Haunting. I think this card's very good. But Typhoid Rats, again, the right pick for us here. There's nothing really else to consider. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and hide the Wolf Run. There's really nothing that we're going to be able to lead us to splash 2 colors, and this is looking like our deck. We don't have any zombies yet. Ghoul Caller's Chant might be able to be picked up later. I think just getting the second Stitchers is the right way to go. And let's see, like Rune Cantor's Pike, I've never been impressed with that card, but I guess if you have enough mill and enough instants or sorceries, well, we got 3. Still not very good. Village Cannibals, don't really have many humans, but I guess it could be a better sideboard card. Like, I don't really see us running multiple Manor Skeletons. Or maybe we just take the Pike. I don't really see Pike. I don't see us playing any of these cards. Like, they're all kind of mediocre. As I said, Cannibals could be a sideboard card, but maybe Pike could end up just being decent if we somehow randomly get a ton of stuff. So I think I'd just rather go for the Pike right now. And it's rare. I don't have any. I'm going to go ahead and hide it because I doubt we're playing it. But again, we probably wouldn't be playing any of those other cards. Delver of Secrets, I guess, is the right call, though splashing this might not be horrible with our current creature count, but I think Delver's right. We need something to sack to this if he doesn't flip, and we always have, creature's effects to discard to that guy. Well, here's our first pack back with, again, a bunch of nothing for us, as always, or as before. But we do have the Bitterheart Witch that maybe will open Curse of Death's Hold, so might as well grab it now. And awesome, we got a Walking Corpse back. There really were not many cards in that pack, so I'm very surprised. We got him back. I think he's going to be a lot better than Devil's Reap, though. Than Altar's Reap, though. Altar's Reap is a fine card, for enabling Morbid. For even, I guess, sacrificing this if we need to immediately. But I think the Walking Corpse is just better in the long run. Like, he fills that required 2-drop roll, and if we get any zombie interaction effects or more zombies next pack, it could be very, very good. Here, One-Eyed Scarecrow is actually okay. It lets these guys get in a little bit easier. It provides us some more defense. And as, sacking it to Stitcher's Apprentice, we have to have something to start the homunculuses coming and going, and yeah, just getting a creature out there can be important. And here, nothing really worth taking. I guess I'll just take the Caravan Vigil. It's a foil, and it's probably the most useful card out of those cards that are left, so maybe I'll ruin somebody's plans for a splash. This card I actually think could be decent. The fact that it's an instant, you can flash it back in the right deck. So we'll go ahead and take it. I mean, well, I think it can be decent. I haven't really seen a situation where I'd want to play it, but that's a lot of life you can gain. Like gaining, possibly 20 or more life from one card at instant speed could be worth it. Even though life gain is generally weak, like that's a lot of life. So we're a little bit lacking on removal right now. But we got one pack to go. It's interesting how our strategy turned out taking the Wolf Run, thinking about green-white, red-green, and then shifted pick 8 into the Forbidden Alchemy. You notice we didn't get the other Alchemy or Scab back that time, which is unfortunate. That one pack that must have had these two could have been very deep. Though blue is definitely underdrafted when we saw this guy tabling when there's only one other decent blue card in that pack. There might have been a Stitcher's Apprentice. I have to go back and really remember. Probably have to watch the video to see if there was indeed like an apprentice that somebody took over this, as well as that silent departure. Ooh. Wow. Okay, so this is a pretty deep pack. We might get something back. I actually don't know if Cackling Counterpart or Mona the Unhallowed is better. I think Counterpart's better. I mean, the fact that it's an instant is pretty sweet, because you can really get somebody if they're swinging in and you're copying Morbid Morcup Banshee on their turn, or Murder on their turn, blocking and then killing something else. Moan is a very, very good card, though. Never unhappy to see it. But this also has flashback. Yeah, I think this is just that much stronger than Moan. And, we might get something else blue back from this. So, let's see. I mean, if we take this, there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kind of playables. I mean, and there's a lot in our colors, so somebody might be taking these over taking, one of the cards we need. But we'll probably end up with like a Manor Skeleton or something, but I would hopefully get one of those back. And yeah, I think I will just go ahead and take the Counterpart here. Wow, a foil Daybreak Ranger. I don't think, like, splashing green. We don't have Traveler's Amulet yet, which makes splashing a little weak. We have nothing to work with the Invisible Stalker, so I don't really... I'm going to hide the Bitterheart Wedge because I don't think we're seeing a curse. So I don't think I really want the Stalker right now. Maybe I'll just... I think Ranger's that powerful that... God, but he takes red to activate him. He's so incredibly strong on his own. I mean, maybe the Stalker is just the right pick. In case we do get, a Butcher's Cleaver or something, we have another human. These aren't humans, are they? I mean, I guess these two are the only ones really worth taking. We're just so gonna get crushed by that Daybreak Ranger, probably. Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and take the Stalker. I mean, we could get crushed by a Stalker too. Let's see, we got Moorland Haunt, the Battleground Geist, Ghoul Caller's Chant, not looking impressive right now. I guess the Battleground Geist, since we don't have a lot of ways to finish people off, though Geist isn't amazing in our deck. Like sensory, there could be an argument for sensory deprivation, but we might get one of these cards back. They're all kind of weak, and these are all decently playable. And there's a rare. Yeah, I think just taking the Battleground Geist is going to be strongest here, and we will see what we end up wheeling. Well, I think Claustrophobia, I mean, it's removable, so it's not the best removal, especially stuff like Ultra Reap and things like that in the format, but it is removal. I'm tempted, like, if we had more zombie stuff, like, we do have a lot of creatures. The Walking Corpse is actually a pretty good card, but we do have a lot of 2 in early drops, so we don't necessarily need another early drop, whereas Claustrophobia is just straight up removal for a fatty. Like, it's definitely the best card. So I'm going to go ahead and take it. Still don't have anything to really make use of, like, Burning Vengeance. God, and just kind of baffled by, like, how the whites... We've seen a lot of white. I think black is being drafted. Like, it's just weird that we got past, like, this stuff, and then we see the white and the blue later. I mean, it seems like we've been getting mixed signals, which has kind of been a chain reaction of making everybody else's decks weaker, I think. So it's either between Fortress Crab, Brainwave, or Rotting Fen Snake. We don't have a lot to work with zombies. And Wild Weevil's okay. I think just the Fortress Crab to lock up the ground and hopefully win the game late with one of our flyers. We also have this guy to help do that, but I think he's the best option right here. Like, we don't have any scabs or anything to fill that role yet, so yeah. And another Claustrophobia. That's not bad. There's still a dagger here. It's crazy. I mean, this is pretty good with our Invisible Stalker, but I think just the Claustrophobia is going to have more use in general as a removal. Into the Maw of Hell and a Rage Thrower. Right now, I don't even know if I can splash the ball. Like, we don't even have an amulet, so this might not even be making the deck. I'm not sure which is even better or against us in these two. I mean, obviously we could end up, splashing that if we really needed to, but I think just taking it into the Maw of Hell here is... Like, if we do end up splashing, I'd rather not face into the Maw of Hell, because they can remove that splash. And what the hell? Okay. Another Claustrophobia here and a Mind Shrieker. I think Mind Shrieker is just literally nuts. You can deck somebody, or you can just somehow randomly kill them with like a 14-14 going through the air. So, yeah, I don't understand how this card's still in the pack, or how this card is. That's very bizarre to me. But anyway, Mind Shrieker is clearly the pick. He's incredible. I mean, there's situations where, like, if you have this guy and 6 mana untapped, like, it's almost impossible for them to attack into you, and you can just sit back and mill them. If you have any sort of, combos with your mill, like, they're just dead. Yeah, I don't think we're playing the Brimstone Volley. This deck, nice, we got back a Makeshift Mauler, which is good. This deck doesn't want to get mana screwed. I think it's got a pretty decent late game with some interesting interactions with, like, Stitcher's Apprentice and the Morcut, the Murder, the Noble. Not playing any of these cards. I'll just go ahead and take the rare. I don't think Delver's Secrets can possibly make the cut. We got, what, 1, 2, 3. I mean, as I said, we only have 23 playables, so I guess he is. And he can always be pitched to that. Bring back that, pitch to a Stitcher's Apprentice. So it's not horrible to have a 1-drop that we can transform with Stitchers and things. So I guess I'll stay in. Well, I got a Sentry Deprivation. Maybe that would be slightly better than him, since our creature count is massive. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take the other Burning Vengeance instead of the Delver. Like, I think it's riskier for us to run into a Burning Vengeance type deck that could shut us down than opposing Delvers. We get the foil Delver too. We could have as many Delvers as we possibly wanted. Maybe somebody will want a foil Delver for a legacy deck at some point. Pawn that off. I think playing One-Eyed Scarecrow is a little bit better than playing the Delver. The odds of Delver transforming are like 10%. And this guy actually provides some defense to get this deck going. Alright, well, not too happy with how this deck ended up turning out. That pack was rather odd. I mean, it's like, we ended up getting like 8th pick incredible cards, and then we ended up just getting a lot of random weak cards. So it could end up good, could end up awful. This is not generally the way I like to draft this color set, because we don't have a lot of the card advantage that's normally conferred by, you know, having lots of zombies with Ghoul Caller's Chant and Ghoul Razors and things like that. We just kind of have a bunch of dudes and some slow removal, and like this is just a horrible combination, but don't have a lot of options that, you know, I don't think we can splash this with our current deck makeup. Which is too bad, but yeah. I suggest 11-6. I mean, we'd want these early just to get damage in, but that's not necessary. I think I'd rather, you know, make sure we have the blue for this kind of, for these, to make sure that we can get this guy out and filter stuff away if we need to get to our black. And yeah, we don't have that many black cards, so I think 10-7 is correct here. Yeah. I wonder if Delver would just be better than Stalker. I guess Stalker still represents a little bit of damage that's ticking in. If we have like Fortress Crab and stuff protecting us, and little bits of damage are okay when we have no wool. Yep, I will see you guys for round 1.